He is merely a friend. How often do you hear women say this? How many times do guys overlook it just to discover? We're going to break down the 7 warning signs that a woman's friend is actually a threat to your relationship, because most men don't want to admit that women don't always tell the whole story. Sometimes they say a man is just a friend, but deep down there's more going on. It could be emotional, physical, or she doesn't even realize it herself. If you're not paying attention, you could be walking straight into a situation where you're being played, or worse, wasting your time on a woman who doesn't genuinely respect you. Because the human brain is wired to send signals beyond words, especially when it comes to attraction. If a woman is downplaying her connection with another guy, her subconscious behavior will always betray her. Here's what you need to watch for. Do you notice how she reacts when she talks about him? Does she laugh a little too much? Does she light up in a way that seems different? If she says one thing but her actions tell a different story, you need to open your eyes before it's too late. Distinct. Even if she dismisses him with words, her tone conveys a deeper meaning. Now let's take it a step further and see what happens when she is around him. If you ever see them together, pay close attention to how she leans in when speaking to him, plays with his arm, and angles her body toward him even when she should be with you. This is an intriguing aspect of human psychology. When we are attracted to someone, our bodies subconsciously mirror them. She follows him abruptly, which isn't a coincidence. It's a connection. If he scratches his chin, she follows him a few seconds later. And if he leans forward, she follows him as well. Anxious energy. It's a huge red signal if she becomes defensive, fidgety, or starts over-elaborating on why he's only a friend when you inquire about him. Here's the real test. Why does she feel the need to defend it if he's only a friend? If a woman is thinking about another man even when she is with you, it means that he is living in her head. No matter how much she denies it, the truth is in her actions. Women may be able to control their words, but their body language will always reveal what's really going on. Warning sign 2. Does she ever bring him up unexpectedly when you're with her, especially in an intimate moment? As if he were her boyfriend, she stands up for him. Let's face it, when a woman truly views a man as a friend, she treats him like a brother. It's casual fun, but there is no romantic tension, no hesitation, no deep emotional attachment, just a relaxed dynamic. However, if she defends him as though her life depended on it, you're dealing with something completely different. What I mean by this is that if you casually bring him up with a normal question, she immediately jumps to his defense, almost as if you're accusing her of something that isn't normal friendly. Consider this behavior. How do you know him if you were to ask? When a woman has nothing to conceal, she will respond regularly and without strain, not a panic. There's no need to prove anything, but if she becomes agitated and begins to ramble on about why he's like a brother to me, or how he supported me in ways you don't understand, that's when you know, because that kind of reaction is emotional attachment. This is where it becomes even more clear though, because if you ever show the least bit of concern for the guy, she instantly turns it around on you, saying things like, "This is a classic deflection," which is what people do when they don't want to acknowledge what's actually happening because, let's be honest, if there was really nothing there, she wouldn't feel the need to get defensive. You're just insecure, which is why you're acting so jealous. I can't believe you don't trust me. Ask her if she would be okay with him getting a girlfriend tomorrow and starting to ignore you. Watch her face and her hesitation, because if a woman truly sees a man as just a friend, she won't care if he moves on or stops talking to her. But if the thought of him pulling away bothers her, she already knows the truth. And so do you. Warning sign 3. She talks about him a lot. Have you ever noticed how people naturally bring up topics they can't stop thinking about when someone is on your mind? Now, if a woman keeps saying he's just a friend but his name keeps coming up, that's not just casual friendship. That's emotional weight. Here's what you need to watch out for. Does she bring him up in deep or personal conversations? Or does she use him as an example or comparison when you're talking about relationships? Because if she keeps bringing up his name, even in passing, it indicates that he's taking up a lot of her thoughts, and if she's thinking about him that much, trust me, she's feeling something, even if she won't admit it. Now, let's talk about the subtle ways she does it. One of the biggest clues is when she shares inside jokes or memories about him, especially when she reminisces with a particular type of nostalgia. You can actually hear it in her voice as though she's reliving a moment that was more important than she wants to admit another dead giveaway. She makes subtle comparisons between him and you, but if she ever says, "Oh, he always does this thing where he does, and I wish you'd do that like he does," you must realise that it is an emotional investment. If a woman and a guy are genuinely simply friends, she won't feel the need to bring him up in every conversation. But if he's constantly on her mind, it's because he occupies a specific emotional space in her, and the ultimate test is whether she gets excited when she talks about him. Observe her expression, her energy, and her reactions without even realising it. Although words can be deceptive, the way she says them is what truly conveys the meaning. Warning sign 4. She prioritises him over you. A woman will always make time for the things that are important to her. This is human nature. So if she consistently chooses to spend time with him, answers his calls immediately, or cancels plans with you for him, you have a serious problem because, let's face it, when a woman is truly into a man, she will make him feel like her top priority. Now, some women will argue that, but I've been friends with him for years. That doesn't matter because friendships don't come before relationships. And if you're her man, you should come first. She constantly texts him, even when she's with you. If she's constantly on her phone, laughing at his messages while she's actually on a date with you, that's blatant disrespect. If she keeps saying, "I'm supposed to meet up with him, but we can hang out another day," guess what? She's demonstrating to you exactly where you stand in her life. When something goes wrong, she turns to him rather than you. This is one of the biggest signs of emotional closeness. A woman should never be that attached to another man when she's in a relationship because, at the end of the day, a woman chooses where she invests her energy, and if she's giving it to him too much, that means she's already emotionally invested whether she admits it or not. Warning sign 5. When you finally decide to bring it up, you ask her directly, "Are you sure there's nothing going on with him?" And instead of calmly explaining, she snaps at you, asking why you even care. "He's simply my friend," and she betrays you because you're jealous and makes you feel bad for even asking. I'm shocked that you don't trust me. All of these are classic deflection techniques because when someone has nothing to hide, they don't overreact. They answer questions normally, they reassure you, and they make sure you feel secure. However, if she immediately turns the conversation into an argument, that's a sign she feels caught. Let's go even further. Does she change the topic whenever he comes up? If she's genuinely just friends with him, she won't feel the need to avoid the conversation. But if she acts irritated every time you mention his name, that's a big red flag. She refuses to set boundaries with him, and she freaks out when you ask her to put some distance between them. When a woman genuinely values and respects you, she won't make you question your place in her life. She won't be emotionally attached to another man. She won't be overly defensive. She won't make you feel like you're competing for her attention. And she won't play games. She doesn't keep backup plans. And she damn sure doesn't let another man get so close that it makes you uncomfortable. She's protecting that relationship for a reason. And that reason is because it's already crossed a line, whether she admits it or not. Because a man who respects himself never stays where he isn't fully valued. If you see these warning signs, don't ignore them or tell yourself you're just being insecure. You already know the truth deep down, and as a man who knows his worth, you need to act accordingly. Either she chooses you completely or you leave.